You're back with Today on a Tuesday morning. Well, it was a fight to likely never... it was a fight he'd certainly never expected. But with the eyes of the world watching, Novak Djokovic has pulled off arguably one of his greatest victories, winning his off-court visa battle against the federal government. The win celebrated by the world number one's fans, both here and, of course, in his home country of Serbia. But celebrations could be short-lived, with the federal government not ruling out quashing his visa request again. There is a lot to discuss, so let's bring in independent MP Zali Steggall and 4BC's Scott Emerson. Good morning to you both. Thank you for joining us. Zali, first to you, what a saga. Can you believe this has even happened?
Yeah, look, it was absolutely a debacle. I think the government should have really decided whether it wanted to let Djokovic play or not prior to letting him get on a plane when it came to his visa. So the court proceedings yesterday were very much a procedural aspect of the person being provided procedural fairness in the way in which the government cancelled his visa. But look, I'm more concerned that the message also it sends. I mean, I think it's a privilege to be an elite sports person, and I think with that comes responsibility. And I would really like to see him use his position to get vaccinated, but also to promote that safe response to the vaccine. So I think he's now on the cusp of an opportunity to do the right thing for the population and actually promote a healthy and a safe message for the population.
Well, we can't expect him to do that, can we? Surely, I mean, his previous, comments on this, we know that he's very vaccine hesitant. Surely this won't be a platform to turn the tide.
Oh, well, again, I'm very much support Rafa's comments on this. I think, there comes a time where you have huge responsibility to your fans, to your supporters, to the impact you're going to have in places where you're going to play. And I think we know that the vaccines are the way to be safest in this situation. And we're now, we have businesses shutting. Here, place like here, Balmoral, here, Mossman, and all around New South Wales and Australia, we have so many businesses struggling under this Omicron wave. We need so much more support, and we know the way to deal with it. So if Djokovic really wants to be a winner, I would say be a winner and send a safe message to the population by getting vaccinated.
And Scott, of course, this has already cost the taxpayer so much money. All eyes are now on the Immigration Minister, Alex Hawke. Do you see him using his personal powers to cancel the tennis star's visa for a second time, to drag this on?
Oh, Sarah, I think it's going to be a very, very difficult choice for them to make. One is that, they could kick him out and use his personal powers, as you say. Alex Hawke could get him on the plane today if he wanted to. The alternative to that, and that obviously that would cause diplomatic issues of Serbia. But the alternative to that is for the next 3 weeks, you'd have Novak Djokovic playing in tournaments in Australia, apparently unvaccinated. I hear what Zali's saying. I think she is living in fantasy land if she thinks Novak Djokovic is going to come out now and say, yep, everyone go get a jab. I haven't done it. This is the bloke that apparently tested positive on December 16th for COVID. Next day he's out there walking around Serbia talking to kids, talking to adults. This guy, he's an anti-vaxxer. He's not going to change his mind about this, and that's the problem. Leaving him here in Australia will just be a slap in the face to everyone else in Australia who has done the right thing, and to every spectator turning up to the Australian Open who has to be fully vaccinated to go to the tournament.
And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it was quite interesting. The press conference held in Belgrade by his family ended abruptly as soon as the conversation turned to his vaccination status, his COVID positive, and whether he actually did contract the virus and going out and potentially being in the community while COVID positive. The interesting part as well here is, though, the momentum seems to kind of be in Novak's favour. If the Australian government was to cancel his visa, Scott, in an election year, it's not going to look good for them.
No, well, look, and they'd probably face another legal challenge potentially. I know that Alex Hawke has that power, but it could easily be challenged in court. So have a further hearings. As you say, Sarah, it was in the court yesterday, a different court from the tennis court. Novak Djokovic won again. Who knows what would happen in the future? So it's going to be a very difficult look. And you're quite right. This is an election year. For the next 3 weeks, that is the issue for the government. Do they really want to leave Novak Djokovic in Australia demonstrating the fact that he had a massive win over the Morrison government yesterday.
And Sally, I guess there's no denying really that Novak has got some pull power, if not certainly the star power. The tennis star training on Rod Laver Arena at midnight last night. So is this a good thing for tennis fans at least, that we now have the world #1 player set to compete in our Grand Slam?
Look, I'm torn. At the end of the day, we do. I think, look, the rule of law prevailed and good process prevailed, and that is really important. So, regardless of feelings about, and I do feel strongly about his vaccination and the message that sends, but at the end of the day, it is important that government and border forces actually complies with procedure. So, I think the message that was sent loud and clear to the government yesterday is that the courts will uphold the rule of law. And will ensure that there is due process. What I would like to also talk about, though, is, you know, the refugees that have been stuck in that same hotel for 9 years. The press conference that Djokovic held, he talked about being abused and tortured for 2 nights of detention in a hotel. Give me a break. We have people there that have been languishing for 9 years. So while he went out and hit his balls and practiced at midnight, others are facing continued uncertainty. So I think let's put this all into a little bit of perspective that Djokovic has incredible privilege.
And I guess it's the judge's final comments that really sum up this whole case, isn't it? Both to you, Zali and Scott. We've had too many systemic issues with communication. It really sums up the saga, doesn't it?
Oh, look, the joke is on us,
Absolutely.
Sarah, in terms of this whole debacle. It's just, we look like we've got egg on our face to the rest of the world because of whoever's fault it may have been, whether it's border force or advice given to Djokovic, whatever it may be, it does look bad for us on the international stage.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when the judge says, what more could this man have done? You know, he did try to do all the right things. But anyway, there is a lot more to come in this schmozzle, we have no doubt. Thank you both to Zali and Scott for joining us today.